see it?
Yeah.
Oh, great. So today is September 20th. This is CSI implementation meeting. And since we have a number of items added by Patrick, I think we'll start with these items. And if anyone have more topics, so we can continue after this. The first one relate to the E2E storage owners update. So Patrick, you just need some approval from someone.
I guess I just need to get Michelle to look at it again. Is she attending these meetings less often nowadays, or is she just...
Yes, it's kind of, yeah. She kind of uploads some work to me, and right now, like she should still attend Wednesday meeting.
Okay.
And
yeah,
yeah.
when Wednesday meeting is for one, but I can not attend so well. But yeah, so I can also ping her on Slack, see whether she can look at that again. This one is basically just reorganizing the owner's file. I noticed that I, for example, wasn't even listed, although I've done quite a bit of work under E2E test E2E storage, and we had the same issue as in other owners files with reviewers like SAT who are clearly not active as reviewers. So this gets consolidated.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's good. So I will ping her too. So if she forgot about this, I think it looks good, and just need like approval.
Yeah.
Sure. So the second one, I look at this. Yeah, this is I know what is the issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just saw after the fact that some check was disabled. The volume lifecycle check was disabled for everything to work around one failure in one particular test, and I think that was a bit too drastic. And therefore, I came up with this alternative solution where the check volume lifecycle false parameter is only added for this one failing test when needs it.
Yeah, that sounds good. And also, we have been like thinking about this issue related to host pass, and Mauricio volunteered to work on this part. And I think we right now we already have some kind of good solution, should work. And so we'll change some of the logic for reconstruction to better support CSI host pass, which some driver, if they don't mount. And I talked to Mauricio, we should be able to fix that soon. Yeah.
Okay.
But in the meantime, it's okay.
Yeah, in that case, this is just temporary solution. And if the other one is coming along soon, it doesn't really matter that much. I just thought I'd share this as something that, yeah, could work in the meantime.
Sure. I think that looks good. So we should test for other drivers which support this. Yeah.
Well, this is all just for the CSI host path driver. This volume lifecycle thing is a specific feature of a host path driver.
Okay.
Yeah. And the third PR is again from my backlog. This has actually been pending for a long time. And Michelle was the reviewer for storage. She had different thoughts about how a scheduler plugin should work. And I think while I refactored it, she actually identified an issue with the original design. And I've now added a second commit to address that one. But again, I need her to look at this because she has the context and knows what it's about.
Yeah. So can I have a quick ask, like how many driver right now support this generic ephemeral?
Every driver that supports dynamic provisioning via PVC. This feature is mapped internally in Kubernetes to the normal provisioning process, so drivers don't need to do anything special.
I see. So since this is like using PVPC, right? When user requests certain amount of storage, let's say 1 gigabytes of eForm storage, and it will guarantee the pod will not use more than 1 gigabytes.
That depends on the driver. If they provision a volume that is exactly 1 gigabyte large and has a mounted file system with that as maximum capacity, then the kernel will enforce that. The pod will not be able to write more than that amount.
Yeah, but the problem is that when we provision through CSI, we only ever set the minimum volume size. We never set the maximum. So drivers are
the CSI driver. The CSI driver might decide to make the volume a bit larger or quite a bit larger. So the actual amount at the moment is just, as you said, the minimum. But then I think what Jing was asking about is the upper limit. It doesn't get enforced by, say, host path volumes, or it doesn't get enforced very well for them. Whereas for this, with this approach, pods will get killed or get an I/O error pretty soon when they reach the maximum capacity of the volume that they have. It's just that this maximum is perhaps a bit less precise than it could be. On the other hand, CSI drivers probably won't make the volume too much larger unless they absolutely have to. So this should be fairly close.
Anyone who cared would just need to look at the behavior of their specific CSI driver to see if it enforces it or not. Because most of them would, and then if you have one of those, you're fine.
Oh, so yeah, I didn't look into the detail for, let's say, our GCPD driver, how it behave.
Well, I guess it will. I think it's block based, right? So it will allocate a volume of with a certain number of blocks in your backing storage, and those then are what the pod has access to. The file system can't write more data than fits into those blocks.
Yeah. It probably rounds up to some block size and then does that.
Yeah.
But that would be a very small increment.
Oh, okay, I see.
The key difference here is that the Linux kernel basically has a hard quota on the resulting volume. Whereas for host path volumes, the ones that are all hosted in the same file system, basically a pod can run quite a bit more data before kubelet notices that and then kills the pod.
Right. So for before, right, the in-tray ephemeral storage, like empty dir, there is no limit at the beginning, right? Then we added a feature like you can set a size limit that is just monitor the usage. If exceed, then it will kill the pod. So it is not a hard enforcement. It's just soft, like a limit. So the way we deal with if empty dir. But if a customer like switch from empty dir to use this generic ephemeral volume, they can specify a size of the volume, right? And it should not exceed. Like the file system will enforce that.
For most drivers.
I see. And this PR like more related to the volume limits. So the number of volumes, right? That is not the size. That is the number of volumes.
That's correct. There are basically two code paths in the scheduler where some special code is in Kubernetes for PVCs, and that code had to be updated also for generic ephemeral inline volumes. And this is what this PR adds. It's about feature. If the node limits is one of those, and the other was about, yeah, if that, I'm not even sure what the code was, the host path check, the commit has, I think the commit shows where it's modifying something, but the pattern was the same. Basically, if there wasn't, if a volume source is a persistent volume claim reference, yeah, then do the same thing for generic ephemeral inline volumes.
But I still have a question, like, so the reason we have this volume attach limit, because let's say for those storage, right, they need to attach the volume to the node. And typically there is a hard limit how many volume you can attach to that node. So the scheduler want to take that into consideration. But for ephemeral, I still feel it's a little bit different. It's not like really attach the volume to the node.
Well, this depends. This depends on the CSI driver. The CSI driver that provisions that volume might do on network attached storage. It doesn't have to be local storage, and in that case, it might have to do the same detach for the node as any other volume.
Right.
And the underlying issue here was that this particular check, the attach limit, allowed provisioning or allowed pod scheduling when the PVC was missing, which seems counterintuitive. If you don't know whether you are below the attach limit, you should fail until you have the PVC and can check. And I think Michelle was discussing that with the scheduler folks, or the scheduler folks, when looking at this code again, asked about this particular error case. And I think the consensus was that this should be an error, and this is what the second commit is adding.
Wait, so we actually create the ephemeral PVC before scheduling the pod?
Normal. I think this particular if check in this particular plugin probably never triggers, because I think pod scheduling will fail already much earlier with PVC is missing before it actually checks the attach limit. But because you can't really know, things might get shuffled around, I think it makes sense to change the test, or change the error code to the result here in this particular case to return an error.
But is there a scenario where the PVC gets created and then the pod fails to schedule, and then now you have to delete the PVC and go make another one somewhere else?
This can happen, and if we get into that situation, the pod is currently stuck. So the PVC, if it's local to a node and has been created, doesn't get deleted again. There's currently no logic in Kubernetes. It's the same situation that you get in Kubernetes when you have two volumes with late binding, say from two different drivers, and both volumes get created for different nodes. Then the pod also gets stuck.
Okay.
Or one volume gets created, the other volume can't be created for the same node, and then you have a pod that has to run on that node where it can't run because the second volume can't be created. This is a general problem, and the thinking is that we need to have some kind of deallocate or deprovisioning for volumes that haven't been used yet, where we detect this scenario. I have a cap draft pending where I'm outlining that idea to handle such scenarios, but it's really just it's not even a full cap yet, because it has never been merged as provisional, and it would need further work to scope out how to do this in practice. But at least that's the idea that has been floating around to solve this.
Yeah, it sounds like the underlying scheduling problem is an NP complete problem. So you're going to have to use a heuristic solution that can backtrack when it fails.
Yes, yeah, and the backtracking is missing.
Okay.
For late binding is basically immediate binding is yet another beast where pod volumes get created, and then the pod scheduling just has to follow by design. But at least for late binding, it would be nice to backtrack.
So it sounds like quite a kind of challenge problem, but it's still considered as a bug fix, or
Well,
it should like,
this limitation of late binding and multiple volumes is independent of generic ephemeral.
yeah.
Can also
So
happen with other volumes, other scenarios. It just happens to have the same solution also for generic ephemeral.
okay, yeah. I'm just wondering whether we need to have some kind of proposal, or you already have good idea about how to fix it. So
yeah, if I get bored, I may come back to it sooner or later. But not now. Right now, I'm pushing other things like
okay.
this GA thing. I started getting a bit more active in the structured logging working group.
Oh, okay. So it looks like this issue does not like have very big impact. Not
No,
like,
it shouldn't. Not at all.
okay. I see. So yes, so I think we still have time like to discuss more on this. So Patrick, that's the old items you listed. Anything else you want to like?
No, I think that's all for now. Once these are merged, I will have more. This one thing with the volume of ephemeral volume checks that actually blocks further PRs in that code area, because I would get merge conflicts if I did the other ones first. And I kind of wanted to get this fix in because it's a potential candidate for backporting.
Okay. Yeah. So I think will also try to check this and ask Michelle if she has time to come back to this. Yeah. And so we want to talk about the cut release for the CSI test. So Xing, you add this.
Yeah. So Michelle was asking, because there were some people were asking. So I checked what are the changes that got in. There are two new changes. One is related to this new single node multi-writer. Advertise this capability. The other one is this support node voting mount group capability. So there are two things got added. It looks like everything else are just update release tools. So I think we can cut a release.
That will be a minor release, or
yeah, it's probably okay to be a minor release. Let's see, the previous one is 4.2. It's maybe 4.3. So one thing is I don't know if we are actually missing something, because Michelle was saying she was saying this single node multi-writer. She said we didn't add it, but I saw that one, so I don't know if I think Chris was the one who worked on this feature, right?
Right.
Yeah, maybe I will check with him to see if there's anything missing for this one, because I see a PR. I don't know if some additional thing will be added to support it. So other than that, I don't know what we're waiting. Maybe I don't see any open PRs, at least. Everything is merged. So that's just one thing I was not sure, because Michelle was saying that's not there, but I see a PR. So I don't know if it's just not complete or something additional test need to be added or something. I just want to check that. Yeah. So other than that, I think we can cut test. We can cut a release. That's fine. Because the previous one was in May. It's been quite some time. Yeah.
Sure. So I think this
one question around that. In the last release in 4.2, we announced the deprecation of the mock driver.
Oh,
given that we now have a certain amount of time since that last release, should we delete the code now before the next release?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. It's already, yeah, it's quite some time now. It's already September.
We don't have, I don't think we have any predetermined or predefined time period for deprecations and code removal. But I think it's now long ago enough that we.
Well, if we are following Kubernetes, is that you normally I don't know, can you remove that in
No, it's not used in Kubernetes anymore.
Yeah, okay. Should we do mock driver? Okay, so we just yeah. Or just keep this question for now. And then yeah.
I personally would say we should.
Okay, that maybe probably makes sense. Yeah, I see the note from last time. That's true. It actually says it will be removed in the next release. The note says that it's replaced by CSI Release. Yeah, okay. So okay, that's fine. So I think we can decide on Wednesday. We don't have to rush this. I'm just started this one. So are there anything else you think that we need to add to this release, Patrick?
No, it really just gets driven by users at this point. I don't have any specific plans for what to do, except for this mock driver removal that was on my.
Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense actually. We probably should actually get that removed. Okay, so basically there are two open issues we want to get resolved before we are cutting this. So this one is to remove this, then we need to make some change, submit a PR to remove that, and the other one is to check with Chris the rewrite on report to see if there's anything that we need. Okay. Yeah, so we can talk about this again on Wednesday. I think we don't have to decide right now. I don't think it was that urgent. I think someone was asking this one. It was like a week ago. Yeah, he was just asking. It seems to be a little while. You know, starting compared to the previous list was 4 months ago, right? So you just saying it's been a while now. Probably should do another release. Okay, yeah, I think fine.
Sure. So anyone else has, we have 4 minutes left. Anyone else has some updates or topic want to have a quick discuss? No? Okay, then sounds good. And we'll meet on Wednesday. And if anyone working on some features or issues, we can discuss.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.